Check, test, 1, 2, 3. A little bit louder. There we go. Thank you, Patrick. We got a little hot mic going on here. Very good. How's everybody doing? Woo! Man. Hey, is this a great facility or what? Woo! Hey, man, we've got a great afternoon planned for you. I know that some of you have traveled a lot to get here and done all kinds of things to make sure that you're here for this weekend. And I don't know about you, but Tony, we've been like excited to have this thing happening for a while. You know, it's like T-minus this many days. And so it's really come together great. And I know you guys are going to have I heard the investment thing was unbelievable. We were picking up the Ortiz at the airport. But you guys, I heard that was just unbelievable, huh? Yeah. First of all, thank you guys for qualifying, and congratulations, for qualifying to be in that thing. I heard it was a packed house, so that was good. So let's give everybody that was in that event, as well as the speakers, a great hand on that, huh? You know, we have this afternoon session, and we call the locker room. And Shane's going to go through the details here in a little bit. But, you know, one of the things that is you had to invest, you know, in a group of 10 tickets to get 3 to get in here, right? And so, first of all, great job at making that effort, time, expense, effort to get here and to be able to be in here. And you made that commitment of money to be able to do that. So good job on that. And I know that you're going to be really pleased by everything you hear this afternoon that's going to really help grow your business in a big way. You know, it just happened to be that anybody come down I-70 from the west? Anybody come back from the west? Okay. Just so happens there's this thing called Arrowhead Stadium. Just so happens that Sunday we happen to have another playoff game, right? And we got 1 down and 3 to go, okay? And so how in the world did we ever get two people from Tampa Bay, and we'll just call them the Brady Bunch over here. We'll call them the Brady Bunch, okay? And so how in the world did they get here? At the same time, this is a playoff weekend game. But hey, this morning's special edition of the Kansas City Star. The greatest thing about Primerica is you can always work sports into about everything we do. Isn't that right, Brandon? Right? And so it's like you're so excited to be able to, compete at whatever level of Primerica you want to compete at, right? And so they always have these great headlines. When it comes to competition time, whether it's whatever sport it's in, whether it's baseball or this, and but anyway, so there's just so many great things, and I said, hey, let's have some fun with this, and I think Jody just wrote a book, and that book is called Best Day Ever, right? And so it happens to be a headline here. It says Best Days Ahead. Okay, pretty close, right? And so that is, and I think that's a good thing to start off with. And then it's hard to hold them. Okay, no question. There's some of you guys are competing like crazy in the competition tonight when we show up. That's going to be awesome. And then this, unfortunately, this Brady Bunch, that beat us last year, okay, haunted by the loss. Anybody ever compete like crazy and still come up a little short? Okay, right? Okay, so, that's part of life, right? And the best thing to do is go after it again. And then Big Red is ready. How about that? And so, we got to be ready. And the other one is working harder, Tyreek Hill in the next dimension, okay? What Shane's getting ready to unleash here in a second is going to be the next dimension, okay? And how about the big guy that's on the defensive line, block beaters? That's a good one, huh? And a couple other great things here. He fit right in. Anyway, a bunch of different things. Oh, every team that's left in the AFC playoffs beat the Chiefs this year. Does that matter? So, that's the thing is like if you let anything in competition beat you, it can beat you more than one or two times if you just let it, right? But the best way to do is get after it and compete and go at it and have fun, right? And so let's have some fun here. One of the things I encourage you to do, make sure you have some type of pen or paper or get your notes out on your phone and be ready to take notes. We're not really here to be entertained. We're here to actually grow and learn. You've spent a lot of time and effort and money to get here, and so I highly encourage you to do that. A bunch of people are visiting with you. Don't be afraid to look at them and say, shut up, okay? My whole dang life's in front of me here, right? And so I want to encourage you to be free to do that. How do you introduce Shane? And we're, all these introductions this afternoon, we'll do a much bigger job this evening introducing our speakers, but we want to get right into it this afternoon. And, I think about, most of you have heard about this great organization within Primerica that's called LFIC, Leaders for Innovation and Collaboration. And all we really are is a group of people that are senior leaders that are working with the home office to help guide them and where they spend time, effort, and money at the things that are the most important to all of us. And so we can move our businesses forward faster and just a kind of some guidance, if you will. I just want you to know that before the LFIC was born, okay, there was a guy named Shane Rudman. Because he was that guy. He was the innovator. He was the loudest voice to say, no, that doesn't work, this works. Here's what we could do. Here's a possibility thinker. He was that person. He was that person that helped make things. He could see things that were about to happen before they happened in business. So, man, it's unbelievable to have him in our organization, and he's at this point in time where he's healthy enough to be here today. And so we're so excited to hear from him. Let's give it up for the great Shane Rudman.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. This weekend is going to be perfectly imperfect. Okay? This is the first time that we're really doing a truly hybrid event This is the broadcast location, and then we got satellite locations where we have people that are going to be meeting together, and then we'll still have some people that probably have COVID that are sitting home in their underwear. Ed, how you doing, buddy? Sitting home in their underwear watching probably. What I want to make sure we communicate going forward to everyone is, I don't care, we don't care how you consume the information. What we care about is that you bring others with you to consume the information, whether it's here, in person, live, or your team back somewhere else. I was talking to Eugene. You know, Eugene was mainly in Arkansas when I first met him, and I think they're licensed in like 30 states now because of what happened with technology and COVID and all the things that went on there, right? I want to thank everybody real quick that got together and put this thing together. First of all, Tom, for stomping his foot down and going, I don't give a crap, I'm going to do a live event. And so he did a live event last fall, right? Magic happened at that for me because I consumed that. I spoke at it, but remotely, right? And I was on Zoom, but I was able to watch that event. Like the camera right there is going to be looking at the back of everybody's heads in here. And it was completely different when I was sitting at home in my underwear that day. Because the energy was different. I didn't have to work to pay attention. I was having fun. Okay? Hard work pays off, but if it ain't fun, ain't nobody going to do it very long. Okay? So we got to make it fun. So Tom did that up there. Jim and Mary stepped up the plate here. COVID starts happening all over again, trying to find a place to have a thing. However, Jody and Dan have this facility. You know what? If you get a chance, I'll probably have this on here, to tour this doggone place. And then Eugene with the technology and all the other places that are out there. If you went on this whole campus, this is like the World Congress Center and the Mercedes Dome miniaturized right here. There's dozens of classrooms that are giant classrooms. It's unbelievable the things that we have, that if we handle things right, and God allows it to happen, this is an incredible place that we can teach people how to be good stewards of their money and grow a doggone business. I'm just glad that it happened, that we're here, okay? I couldn't have found this place. And if I was known for anything when we grew our business, it was putting on great events. I mean, as good or better than even the company conventions put on, right? We put on events. I couldn't have dreamt up a place this good. I tithed millions of dollars to another place, hoping that place would become this good. It ain't this good. This is better. This is better. The people here, Lee, the folks that are helping us put this on at this incredible place, we're very, very blessed to have everybody. I want you also to know that you are live right now. Okay, let's see. We're putting on a live broadcast now. Because we had people that got 10 tickets, were bringing people, doing all that, and then boom, COVID yesterday on the message of big leaders with COVID and couldn't come. And I just called a shot and said, this is something we got to do. We cannot let our COVID brothers and sisters that paid to be here not consume this, because it's too valuable what I want to share in the next 25 minutes besides our guest speakers that we have in here, okay? So right now, out there in YouTube land, they're consuming this, okay? And so if you have people in that situation, you can shoot them a text right now, and the link that was going to be used for last night, you get it, use the honor system on that, but there's going to be some life-changing things that I think, okay? Your energy in the back of your heads will be broadcast worldwide. Go to the next one. You're going to hear me say next 500 times. It's going to drive him nuts, okay? You're a leader with responsibilities. Take 100% ownership of this event's success. Go to the next one. In the room, participate. Outside the room, get video. Text your influencers. Call the people that aren't here and tell them how incredible this event is and how incredible this event space is and what can happen in the future, okay? One of the things, by the way, if we can respectfully tour this space and we can get that set up sometime tomorrow where we can walk the RVPs or the $100,000 earners or something around, you need to see. There's what is here, it's 8 times bigger everywhere else. It's unbelievable what is around here, okay? But there's a gym that could hold 1,000 people. There's 2 rooms that hold 400 to 800. By the way, for tonight, it's really COVID-friendly up there, right? People can social distance up there, right? People that want to come in down here, you're adults. You treat COVID how you need to treat COVID, okay? But this place is absolutely amazing. Go ahead and go to the next deal. I wanted to be on here. I was going to talk this morning, and then to collapse time frames, to not talk this morning and talk today, I'm doing it in here. And this is what I wanted to talk about. And talk about the new wall of wealth. You know, from a long time ago, there's an 11-minute presentation or audio that people from all around the country memorized of me telling a story, and it was like a napkin presentation. It was talking about the wall of wealth. This is so much bigger wall of wealth. And I've been working on this for several years, but really hard for the last year, okay? Next, financial, by the way, new folks, Jordan. We haven't met yet, but we've met, right? Through kind of video stuff, right? Okay. Jordan's new. Jordan, I'm going to talk to you at the end of my presentation. Do not let your head get hurt by what I'm getting ready to talk about, okay? Your number one responsibility is to be a headhunter, find people who be better at this than you, and you can get paid millions of dollars from what they do helping society rather than just what you do yourself, okay? And I want to talk more about that at the end. But I want to talk to the securities license people in here and the bigger leaders in here so they can have an idea of what's going on. Financial advisors are going to be bringing over large amounts of AUM. Why? Next, the industry, look, the money management business is based on growing AUM. That's what they want to do, is grow their assets under management, whether on Wall Street, Main Street. If they're managing somebody's money, it's called assets under management, and they want to grow that. Next. Here's what you need to understand. I'm friends with the CEOs of a lot of these companies. I was really good friends. We used to go on vacations together. Who was the most recent CEO and CFO of Waddell & Reed. I know these people, okay? The industry believes that they are all fighting over the AUMs that are already in the system. So, Ed, you know, we still go get people who've never invested in the market ever before, right? And they put $25 a month. It's unbelievable. We lose a bunch of money helping people invest $25 a month, but we'll still do that, right? They're not interested in that. They really believe all the money that is going to get in the system is already in the system. So all they're doing is fighting over money that's already in the system. Their number one priority are the CEOs of the companies we compete with. Their number one priority, they say, is to keep what we have. We just want to keep what we have. We don't want other companies stealing what we already have, okay? So their number one priority, I'm going to tell you Andy's story real quick. And I've got a dozen Andys now, okay? But Andy, those who've been around for a while, remember Joe Plummer, he talked about hunters and skinners, right? Hunters are the people that go get the business, and then skinners are the ones that skin it, process it, make it work, and take care of the client, all right? What they want to do is replace all their hunters with skinners, and they've got a detailed plan to do it. Andy's a perfect example. When I met Andy about 3.5 years ago, he had been in the investment business for 14 years. And he had built up a book of business of 30 million of clients of assets under management. No other place has something like this going on a Friday afternoon. There's no other companies that believe in God first, family second, business third, and are not afraid to say it in a business function, okay? And there's not people that are going to provide the kind of mentoring and training that we provide. They don't get it. They all got to figure it out on their own. So he's been in business 14 years, 30 million. We became friends. He helped with one of my nonprofits, and I said, I'll mentor you a little bit. He spent 8 hours in a car with me, 4 hours one way, 4 hours back, changed his life. 8 months later, he had 130 million of AUM. So 8 months after learning how we think, he grew his AUM by over 100 million. A couple months ago, when I talked to him on these details, he had over 260 million of AUM. He is the top dude at Mariner, okay? A wealth management firm, all right? Guess how much he gets paid for that 260 million of personal AUM? 400 grand. A regional leader would get paid $1 million with us on a part-time contract, okay? He's capped. Here's how they're compensating him. Ed, this is unbelievable. What they do is say, if you'll grow another 25 or 50 million of AUM, we'll give you another Skinner. We'll give you another personal assistant. So then he has 2, then he's got 3, then he's got 4. And they want all the personal assistants, the Skinners, to build a relationship with those clients, take care of their daily needs. The person had to get them to move their money in the first place, but then they want somebody else babysitting them, taking care of them, answering their phone calls, getting back to them, because then they want to fire Andy. And when Andy goes somewhere else, they already have all the Skinners that's already built into the system and already love those clients. That's their plan. That is their plan, all right? Now, when you talk to these folks, I got 17 minutes. When you talk to these folks, when I first start talking to these folks that are, you know some of them, they're high net worth financial planning type folks, you know, they kind of look down their nose at us because we deal with Main Street. We teach average folks how to be good stewards for their money, right? We go to the backbone of America. We're improving America by teaching people how to get out of debt and financially independent, right? Nobody else is going to do it but us, okay? Here's what they look down, they go, you hire people part-time, ha, 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 right? So they kind of look down at that. You allow people to recruit people. After, I won't even, I tell them 10 minutes, have a conversation with them when they introduce me to somebody else, and go, you need to go do your checking. You mean they don't let you hire somebody where you're at? So if you got a friend that has 150 million of AUM, they won't let you recruit him and bring that 150 million of AUM to where you're at, and then you get a little piece of it? No. Yeah, you can do that part-time here. The things they get most excited about is recruiting people and part-time. They can't believe we will take all the legal risk of allowing somebody to have a securities license part-time. We spend millions on compliance to allow that to happen, okay? Next. So they're employees. All of them are employees. They're getting rid of all the 1099. They now have lost their 400 tax deductions you get from owning your own business. They're making them all employees so they can fire them. And they don't have to have any kind, they don't have to give them any kind of ownership. They have no ownership. And our regional leader contract is bigger than a full-time financial advisors out there in the real world as a regional leader, okay? Next. Okay, so their idea, they're going to get AUM, they're going to protect AUM by hiring a bunch of people that do great at customer service and fire the people that brought them to business in the first place, or just make them leave because they can't make any more money, okay? Go find something else to do with your life, all right? So, and then all of a sudden, all that money that they were paying on that AUM, that 400 grand goes straight to their pocket, straight to their bottom line. because that person's gone, right? So that's one way to increase their profit margins. Second, they want to find the most efficient way to gain AUM. And they aren't going to do it through these folks. It's already all in the system. One of the things they're doing is they're making these people every 90 to 180 days, every 3 to 6 months, they're now having compliance meetings, and they're given a new non-compete contract. They're trying to time down every way known to man, so if they do leave, they can't take any of the money with them. They can't take any of their clients with them, okay? So the most efficient way to gain AUM, hit the next one. Waddell & Reed, right here in town. Those of you who are new here, we were founded out of Waddell & Reed. We were founded by a football coach and a school teacher that went to work part-time in the financial services business, found out that was the best way to do it, so you could be honest. You didn't have to make a commission. Your house payment didn't depend on whether they bought what you were selling. You just educated them about what's ethically and morally right for them to do. And because it was part-time, you were not put in a difficult situation. He became the #1 region almost overnight in Waddell & Reed. Okay? And they go, Art, how are you doing what you're doing? You haven't been here very long. You're killing everybody. How are you doing that? He goes, well, I hire school teachers and coaches part-time. And they go, oh, you can't do that. Yeah, that's what I do, and we're killing everybody else. Yeah, but you can't do that. We don't allow part-time people here. He goes, we're killing everybody. You want to know how we're doing it? So they brought Art in, let him travel the country for 6 months, meeting at all the other Waddell & Reed offices around the country, and interview all those other brokers, all those other vice presidents to find out if what Art was doing in the Southeast would work in California, in Washington, up north, to figure out if that would work. He put his business plan together, came right back here to Kansas City, walks into Waddell & Reed, goes, it's going to work. Here's the plan. They go, we've already decided we cannot handle the idea of hiring a part-time person. We're not going to let you do it. So Art left, founded this company, and took 85 new friends he met over the 6 months prior from all around the country that wanted ownership, wanted to be able to hire people part-time, all that kind of stuff. Next. Waddell & Reed had 80 billion of AUM. And Ed, I don't know if you guys knew this, but in April of 2021, they were sold. They were bought by a company that had a lot more AUM, okay? They bought them, and let's see if I keep going, go to the next one. Oh, no, I do want to have this right here. Go back one, sorry. Of all those employees of a 75, 80-year-old company, big corporate office right here, the mayor that I personally know gave them a sweet deal to go build a brand new office complex in downtown Kansas City. They renege on that, sell their 80 billion of AUM, and fire everyone in the home office except for 2 people. Their general counsel and the attorney that reported to the general counsel, the 2 attorneys, to help them work through the process. Go read it, go Google it, go look it up. They believe in 2 years, the savings of getting rid of all the employees, they sold off the brokerage business. 900 regional vice presidents gone, you're out of here, you're not a part of this anymore. You've got to work with a different financial firm. You're gone, gets rid of all of them. They believe it's 100% cash to them 24 months in. So they got 80 billion free and clear after 24 months. There's going to be a massive consolidation within the financial services business, and they're going to get all the kneecap to kneecap people out of the way. They don't want anybody like us, and they're just going to go do mergers and buy. What they're going to do, Ivy funds that they spent millions of dollars, and our soccer team has on their logo, all that stuff. The company that bought them has the same mutual funds they do. Growth and income. 99% of the stocks are the same. After a couple years, they built a relationship with those. Get rid of Ivy funds, get rid of all those fund managers, just merge all that into the fund that they already have that's smeared just like it already. Okay? Next. So, Waddell & Reed announces layoffs, won't move to downtown headquarters under construction. Next. SEC regulations, best interest. This is amazing. Okay, I got to fly through this. Best interest regulation is going to put everybody out of the business, anybody big except us. The only people who are going to be left is us and the mom and paws. You know, some of those idiots that left that had their own, they're only a one-person ed, right? They got one little office and that kind of thing. There'll be those little ones because they're going to try and fly under the radar of best interest, but we're investing millions of dollars in attorneys, relationships, so that we will be the only broker-dealer left in America. Keep going. Next. Now, you probably can't read this. You might be able to sit up there. Those who've been around for 10 or 12 years. Anybody here was ever in the smart business, debt elimination business, mortgage business, right? Okay, remember? The authority given to the SEC by Dodd-Frank. Wall Street Reform, Consumer Protection Act of 2010. That regulated us out of the smart loan business, right? Some people in here were making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a month in that business. Went away. Go to the next one. I want you just to remember, because that's what they have delayed. They did it to the mortgage stuff first, and now they're coming after the securities folks. It was already passed back in 2010. First of all, I want to make sure you understand. I got to go through this real fast. We must make sure no one violates their non-competes. We are going to enforce the other company's non-compete with their people more than they're going to enforce it. We're going to do things the right way. Okay, next. We cannot encourage anyone to violate that contract. Next. We still live in the United States of America, though. Freedom. If I leave a firm and a client calls me and asks why I left, I live in America. I can call them back and tell them why. I just can't call them to tell them before I left, and I can't make an outbound call. I can only return their call. Today, I only have enough to do the big picture stuff. We will give you details in the future. Keep going. Okay, so back to this. Go to the next thing. Think about this. What if Primerica were the only mortgage broker debt elimination company prepared for Dodd-Frank in 2010? What if we didn't get the carpet raked out from under us? What if we were already planning ahead? What if we spent years preparing? What would have happened? Next. Instead of being regulated out of the business, next, we would have had a place for tens of thousands of mortgage brokers to run to with all their clients. Next. You would have made millions just from them coming over. Who's you? Those that were licensed, trained, and already good at the mortgage and debt elimination business. Because if a mortgage guy or gal is going to come over and bring 20 of their folks with them, they want to know Ed's good. Because now we ain't interviewing them, they're interviewing us. Am I going to go to Ed's office out there on the West Coast? Or where are you, in Georgia? Where are you at? East Coast. There we go. Tampa, that's right. That's why all the Tampa references earlier, right? But they're going to interview people, and you need to be good. And you know what? If you were really good at this stuff back then, my worst case estimate, I would have had 2,500 offices join my Primerica firm if we were ready. Next. Okay, I went through next. I got to fly. Actually, go back. Nope. It's there. Who would have made tens of millions in that situation? Who would have made tens of millions instead of millions extra over and above anything we've showed you in comp? Who would have made tens of millions? The person already had 100 people that were good at it. Because then they would have had a whole lot more outlets to take all those people on board, right? Next. Recruit, train, recruit, train, recruit, train. Next. This market's so much bigger than you realize. Just go ahead and put them all up there so I can just try and go faster and make your life a little easier. Tens of thousands with our broker-dealer and what we're doing and what we're preparing to do. We ain't going to take the billionaires, money management people they're billionaires, they have people, but we're going to take 80% of the market and be able to have the place for them to come. Okay? Tens of thousands will come our way with an average AUM over 100 million. You want to add 100 million to your AUM? Recruit one person that has 100 million. Right? We're well aware of the 2% market share we talk about all the time, right? 2% market share, we talk about that in a lot of our presentations, right? And that's 2% of the insurance market, okay? That's where that comes from. And we talk about if we just grow to 10%, that's 500% growth from where we're at. That means we have to grow our $1 million earners and our $100,000 and our $250,000 and all those earners we have right now, we have to grow by 500% to go from 2 to 10%. That's only 10% market share, right? Take a look at this. Primerica's current $80 billion. We have $80 billion of AUM in voluntary accounts, retirement accounts, every kind of investment known to man. We got $80 billion. That's only 0.229% of the $35 trillion that are in retirement accounts. Not all the money invested, just the money in retirement accounts. If we grow to only 1% market share in the AUM business, that's 500% growth. If we get just 10% of the market share, that's 5,000% growth of $100,000, $1 million, $2 million, $1 million a month earners that we have in our business, okay? Keep going. Go again. 2 minutes and 34 seconds. Keep going. This is important because I got to get to this because now I'm going to talk to our new folks, okay? Wouldn't you like to, the guy that got me in the business, Jordan, am I saying that right, Jordan? The guy got me in the business. He straightened up my finance. I didn't have a lot of finances to straighten out, okay? He made a couple $100 doing that. But he showed me an opportunity. He gave me an opportunity. He recruited me. He trained me put me through a 6 to 8 week part-time training program. He's been paid over $10 million from hiring one 21-year-old broke kid. Okay? So there's far more money being a headhunter than just being a financial planner, but we want both, okay? What I want you to, in a normal factory, Jordan, you have raw material come in the front door, and you have a finished product come out the back door, and byproducts are automatically created. Most byproducts suck in the manufacturing business and make the world a worse place, right? Primerica, we have a regional vice president factory. Your job is to have recruits come in the front door, come into this factory, and become regional vice presidents. By focusing on that, automatically, all the kinds of business that we do will automatically happen. What we're getting ready to do, we're already starting the process to do it on a smaller scale, is really, all you that were at the meeting from 10 to 1, you're really could go, you can either just have all the AUM yourself, or you can focus on just doing AUMs, recruiting people with AUMs, and your job is to develop them to become a regional vice president of AUMs. It's a whole nother business. It's 1,000 times more money than anything we've talked about so far. Keep going. 41 seconds. Our fundamental beliefs. 4 fundamental beliefs. Everything that we're going to do, coming up, our 4 fundamental beliefs. I'm not even going to read them. Everybody in this room would agree. And when we came back there, moved to Kansas City, it was not a fun thing. I built a big business, promoted folks. First time really promoted a bunch of people came here. Everybody has their own independent leadership style. Everybody goes and opens their own office, and we have 10 different places rather than one big team. We came back together as one big team. We had to decide what we could believe in. Because there's a lot of things we didn't believe in common. What things did we believe in? These were the 4 things we believed in. Only it's a little bit more advanced now, but I guarantee you we would all agree with these right here. Okay? You just have a whole lot of options now. For Joran and Keith and the folks that are here that are relatively new, okay? You could let your head get hurt with a whole lot of financial planning stuff, with a whole lot of that stuff. There's people that are so much better at the investment part of our business than I am. But I have over $2.5 billion of assets under management. They send me 50 grand a month. I don't even know how it works. But there's a lot of really good people in here that I'd want to sit down with my mom and dad to help them do their stuff. But I want to focus on recruiting people. The most important thing, I close with this. Turn things back over to Jim to introduce it. Who's getting introduced next? I won't need a microphone. I'm just going to yell. You can get your microphone ready. Jim's going to introduce you in a minute. Selling the dream right now. Hear me. Thank you. Lee, you're awesome. Thank you. So, if it says, in case of emergency, continue to fly the plane. Because most people die in plane crashes because there's a minor emergency and they're worrying about that and forget to fly the plane. What I'm excited about in 2022, continuing to fly the plane here is more next win. You get more people here tonight than you had today, more people here in April or our quarterly events and then the convention. All you got to do is focus on getting more people to the next thing than you had at this thing, and then make sure you walk across this stage, have your name called to build belief and win. So more next win. We are so fortunate. If you will, I'm excited about what I'm going to kick off things with tonight. Pray for clarity. He's going to provide it. It only takes 30 to 60 seconds of an entire weekend for you to get your clarity. Make sure you're paying attention the whole time. Sorry, I went over 2 minutes and 46 seconds. That's pretty good for me.
You? 1, 2. There we go. I don't know about you, but that was pretty darn exciting stuff, right? Yeah. And so what did I say about Shane when I said, he was a visionary and this guy, he saw things happening before they were going, right? Right? I'm telling you, what did you just hear? Come on, 90% of the room is focused only on making a living. 8 to 5, 8 to 5, 8 to 5, you just can't hardly look up. That alone, read and research and understand what stuff like that's going to happen, right? But what if you found 4 or 5 people that helped you accumulate that stuff? Most really successful people aren't really that great at what they're actually doing, but they've surrounded themselves with what? Really great people that were hunters and skinners in that particular area that helped them grow their overall business. And so everybody knows that Andy Reid, he's not much of a football player now, right? Okay. But guess what? He's surrounded himself with some really great coaches that have put together 2 back-to-back Super Bowl runs. What's the difference? The same difference is what we're doing, right? We're trying to find good people that want to come together and win and compete, right? And we just happen to have an industry that's like bazonkers how big it could be, right? And so how many people kind of think you understand the comp system in the investment world, in our investment comp? How many people really think they got your arms wrapped around that, okay? About a third of the room. That's great. You don't need to know, okay? Let's use Shane's analogy. He's going to use this all weekend, right? More next win, right? If you're an AUM person and you're building a lot of assets under management, let's celebrate that. So what you really need to do is like, okay, well, you need to be adding clients, not one a month, two a month. You hit one every two. No, you need to be 10 or 15 a week, right? Adding new clients, as small as they are, as big as they are, keep doing that, right? That's whatever he said was all predicated on, hey, listen, if there's numbers, good things will come out of those numbers, whether it's lots of clients or lots of licensed reps. Everybody agree with me on that? I think that's fantastic. So, hey, listen, let's hear from Jason Ortiz, and we're excited to have him with us. And he's the older brother of Eric, and so they've got two sons, and they're all in the business together, and they've got this unbelievable, unique family business that they're growing together, and really the poster child, really, for all of Primerica in building this family-type business. But one of the greatest things that I love about Jason and Ed and their business and their family business, it represents more like what we do in our base shop. Just a real great balanced business of recruiting growth, licensing growth, and AUM growth. And so, there's all kinds of businesses, but their business is really that. They're doing a great job on the assets under management side, really working with their clients, a client for life kind of mentality. But at the same time, they're recruiting and building, and they're growing. And, they'll go over $1 million this year. So, incredible, right? A little background on Jason. Jason and his wife Jackie have two kids, two daughters, and they grew up Primerica kids, obviously, right? Ed, he'll tell his story tonight, and you'll know more about that. But they grew up as Primerica kids, and they kind of didn't know anything else, but their parents had the opportunity to get them through college, and they played football, and they come out and said, it didn't take us very long to figure out, and Dad and Mom are having way more fun than we are, okay? So I'm going to go be a Primerican, And so, just the most amazing leaders growing up with Ed and Yvonne as their parents. Man, Primerica kids, they're like no other, okay? And you're going to hear from a $250,000 earner, just qualified for the senior leadership meeting this year for the first time, and senior vice president. Let's give it up for Jason Ortiz.
What's up, everybody? Y'all good? Oh man. Okay, so I got 30 minutes here. We got to roll through it. I love the locker room sessions because I don't have to hold anything back. We kind of just give it to you guys the way you guys need it, right? Is that okay? Do I got your permission? Is that cool? Right? And so, man, thank you guys for having us. It's an absolute honor and a privilege. We're out in Tampa. I'll share a little bit more about my story later on this evening, but real quick, that's me and my wife right there. First and foremost, I want to give you guys a way to connect with us. We're all the way across the country. I have Instagram right there for myself, for my wife, man. The reason I say connect with us, whenever you see, our stories on Instagram, it's a way for you guys to kind of have a positive influence where you're looking at. Not only that, whenever you have friends that also are on your social medias, they see the other people that you're related to. I think that's a good kind of positive influence with what's going around. So, man, feel free to connect. I found some of my best friends, some of the closest people, some of the things that I learned the most with connecting with people nowadays. I think that's such a powerful resource. But that's my wife, and those are our two little girls right there. That's Presley and Stella. And real quick story about how, our story. Obviously, Mom and Dad started the business when I was 7. My brother was 5. And we started off as child writers, right? We started off as child writers in the business, okay? I was mad at Mom and Dad because they showed me the rule of 72 at age 7. I was mad because I missed 6 years of the compounded period, right? So I was messed up about that. But, man, it's absolutely incredible. We got a chance to play football in college, and when we graduated, all my buddies said, you need to get in the medical field. That's where the money's at. And that's what we did. I got into, I didn't have a degree to be a doctor, a nurse, anything like that. I had a business degree. And so I got into the next best thing. I got into medical sales. I started selling electronic medical records to plastic surgeons, dermatologists, ophthalmologists. And I realized real quickly that I absolutely freaking hated it, okay? Absolutely hated it, not because of what I was doing, but the quality of life that I had. I seen growing up the quality of life Mom and Dad had. And I realized I was working crazy hours. I was only making about $2,500 a month part-time. Yes, the son of Edney Von Ortiz, right? And I realized I needed to do something different. We started in this path, our first year in Primerica, as part-time, we made about $35,000 our first year. Our second year, which was our first full year as a regional vice president, we made $65,000 because we had 5 extra months to work with. And then by the third year in Primerica, we made over $105,000. The company hasn't paid us under $100,000 a year since we were 27 years old. And I'm 36 now, right? So it's just been an absolutely incredible journey. But, I got to tell you this. Before I started in the business, right, it wasn't always like that. I was born into this business kind of screwed, right? If you hit the next slide right there, right? Right? That's without my consent, right? I was a whole lifer, okay? Without my consent, I was a whole lifer as a Gerber policy. My parents always wanted to do the best things for us. And, Dad will tell his story a little bit and why we get so passionate about what we do because, out there, even though people wanting to do what's really good for their families, man, there's some people out there just doing selling the wrong products and services. We just really got really passionate about that. And a lot of people think, the common misconception, Evan, is that, being in business, seeing your parents succeed, being in a business where your parents are senior national sales directors, everything should be easy. Everything should be given to you, okay? And it couldn't be any further from the truth. When we got licensed when I was 18 years old, Mom and Dad started when I was 7, right? So they had 11 years of ripping and running through, warm markets, right? Uncles, all my aunties, uncles, brothers, sisters, everybody was already talked to at that point. They're already clients. So at that point, we had to get really, really fundamentally sound with making sure that we knew what we were doing to generate some activity at a very early on in our careers. And so that's the whole point of today. I want to show you guys some different things that really helped us out, right? I'm not here to tell you guys change what you're doing by any means. Early in my career, I would come to conventions or fast start schools and I would listen and I would take everything and change it all, right? I'm not telling you guys to do any of that. I'm telling you guys what you guys are doing is obviously working. You guys are here in the locker room session, right? That's an amazing thing. But what I'm telling you guys is take the best and leave the rest. Is that fair? Is that cool? All right. And so first and foremost, right, if you can hit the next slide, we got to make sure instead of focusing on doing things right, we need to focus on doing only the right things, right? We need to become fervently and continuously proactive. See, there's a difference between being proactive and reactive. Okay, I wrote some thoughts down, there's 2 types of people in the world: those who act in real time as if they happen, and those who pay attention to what's coming and act accordingly. Okay, and by being proactive, what happens is issues become non-issues. Okay, you're able to forecast them, anticipate them. Definition: reactive means reacting to the past rather than anticipating the future. Proactive means, or to have initiative, means acting before a situation even becomes a source or a confrontation or crisis, right? So if we hit the next slide right here, you see some different things about having some, being proactive versus being reactive. Go ahead and hit the next one, right? These are some things that I really focused in on, making sure that I had, right, a sense of initiative, that I was proactive in the business. That helped out a lot, right? Initiators prepare, right? Where reactors kind of repair. Initiators plan ahead, right? Reactors live in the moment. You look at this, pick up the phone and make contact, okay? Versus waiting for the phone to ring. Initiators anticipate problems, okay? React for the problems. Seize the moment. Wait for the right moment. Put the priorities in their calendars. Reactors put others' requests in their calendars. And then finally, invest time with people versus spend time with people, right? I'm so glad, I'm so fired up about this weekend because this is a business trip for us as well, man. We're here to gain knowledge, to be able to take back to Tampa and take our business to the next level, right? We're not naive to the fact that we're all growing in this thing, and if we have something to help you guys out with, I would hope that you guys have something we can learn from and take it to the next level as well, right? So look at this, being proactive. If you look at, we always made sure, right, Eric and I, when we got in the business, we wanted to make sure that we had a couple of things that were like we knew without a shadow of a doubt this is what we had to focus in on. We made sure that we had laser-focused goals. Every year, right, we make sure that we get together, we sit down at the beginning of the year, right, with the family, and not only with the family, with my wife as well. We make sure that we want to have some things that are accomplished, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, but, this year our goal is to do about 7,000 new recruits, right? Last year, between the hierarchy, we did about 2,700. In order to do 7,000, right? Because the reason why we need to do 7,000 is because we want to do 500 new recruits, 50 new securities licenses, or 500 new life licenses, 50 new securities licenses. We want to have 50 million assets under management, and we want to do 1,000 F&As. We want to do the right thing for our people when we sit down with them, but they got to be laser focused, right? And they may be big, whatever the case is, but you know what? When we focus in on these goals, at the beginning of the year last year, we want to do 3,000. We didn't necessarily hit 3,000. We hit 2,700, which is pretty fantastic. All right? And so, we just finished reading this book, Think and Grow Rich, right? I'm pretty sure you guys have read that book before, right? And in that book, right, it says, whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Okay? All the riches and all material things that anybody acquires through self-effort begins in the form of a clear, concise, mental picture. Clear, concise, mental picture of the thing that one sees, right? So, guys, I want you to understand, right? Recruiting directs, developing competent districts, getting them licensed, having the PIN code 8531, right? I want you guys to understand recruiting is a great thing. Okay? Recruiting is a great thing, and it took us a long time to internalize that, but this is one thing I heard that, man, it made so much sense to me, that 99% of your recruiting, okay, 99% of your recruiting is going to be charity, okay? 1% of the recruiting, however, is going to make you wealthy. So if we have that going into it, we understand that the majority of our time, right, is an investment. Right? The true measure, this is a true measure of growth for you guys, is when was the last time, anytime I try to measure our growth, I always ask myself, this is a great question I always ask myself, is when was the last time I directly developed a district licensed leader? When was the last time I personally developed a direct district that was licensed? Right? And for a lot of us here, that if we don't have that in front of us at all time, right, we may have growth in the base shop, but if we don't have it directly, okay, are we really growing? So that's one thing. Now, going through the business, I learned a lot of things, and man, I went through a whole bunch of different situations, and I hope that these next couple slides will help you out through these different situations that we went through. This is what I like to call base shop troubleshooting, okay? You guys ever heard of this before? You guys ever seen this before at all? All right. So this is going to help you guys out. I promise you there's going to be somebody in here that is in one of these situations. I would hope that encourage you guys, man, to take this and really internalize it and take your business to the next level, right? If you go to the next slide right here, if your business, if your recruiting is up and your premium is down, okay? If your recruiting is up and your premium is down, right? I would encourage you guys to, look at teaching trainers how to get new recruits off to a fast start. Make sure that these new recruits are doing personal financial needs analysis. Show recruits why they need to go on a lot of appointments. Have a focus on IPAs. You guys know what IPAs are? Independent producing agents. Independent producing agents, right? This sometimes happens. We learned this from one of our top regional vice presidents in the hierarchy, Edward Fernandez. This usually comes from working with a young market, okay? And I think that's so amazing to be able to work with a young market, right? Because look, if you can develop a regional vice president that's 24, 25 years old, that's like 40 years of overrides, right? That's like 40 years of overrides. Evan, how old are you? 21. You become a regional vice president. Who's your up at, Martha? Martha is like hoping, praying, wishing, man, that you get a regional vice president, right? And so, man, that's the idea. Like, let's not be opposed to hiring the younger generation, but we got to focus it, just like Shay was saying, is making sure we're doing the right things, okay? If your business, go ahead to the next one. If your business recruiting is down and your premium is up, if your recruiting is down and your premium up, right, for all the personal producers out here, right, train on how to recruit across the kitchen table, We focused in on training on all forms of prospecting, whether it's in person, whether it's through social media. Our prospecting is very simple. We got 5 questions. Hey, how long have you worked here? Do you like it? Do you keep your options open? How do I get a hold of you? When's the best time to call you? 5 questions, and we have 6, 7 conversations on a daily basis with those 5 questions, man. The prospecting really starts kicking up. Train on how and why to recruit, why to operate through social media and recruit through recruits warm market. Okay, so that's recruiting down, premium up. The next one, if your recruiting is flat and your premium is flat, okay, found myself here many times in my business. And I had to look at myself in the mirror and justify, man, I just got to go out and find some new blood, right? I got to go out and find some new people. Know that, again, recruiting is a great thing. Understand that recruiting is normal. And recruiting, guys, is the absolute best product that we have in business today, man. Recruit younger people. Get a focus of, energy in the environment, right? And create a sense of competition in the base shop. You guys do competitions in the base shop? Right? Yeah? That's awesome, man. That's going to be fantastic. If we go to the next one right here, if your recruiting is up and your premium is up, but your income is down, okay, we need to stop recruiting. I knew that we had to stop focusing and recruiting in the wrong market. I got in trouble with that, right? And it wasn't on purpose. It was just wasn't really focused in on making sure that we're having a quality of business, protecting our business, and we got into persistency nightmare, right? For a period of time as a regional vice president, for about 1.5 years, we got paid as a regional leader, okay? But we still made over $100,000 that year because, man, God bless, we had the investment license, we had a balanced business, we were able to do things, and we had to get out of that very quickly. The positive thing is we learned how QBI works, right? The positive thing is we learned how QBI works. Our QBI is like in the 80s now, man. It's absolutely incredible. We went from a 59 to an 80, which was awesome, right? And we want to make sure that we keep it there. Sometimes it happens when you're not wide. Okay, we have a bunch of directions. We have a lot of spread. Like if you're a regional vice president, you got a rep, senior rep, district, division, regional. There's no really spread there, and that comes from directly recruiting, developing people as well, right? If we hit the next one, recruiting is down, premium down, income up. You're not keeping the main thing, right? Which is distribution, recruiting, growing. You have to become a Primerica employee. We got to work on our people skills to retain and develop people. And then finally, if your recruiting is up and your premium is up and your income is up, don't change a thing, okay? Don't change a thing. You're doing very, very well. Keep it rocking and rolling. Again, this was just here to help you guys out. If you find yourself in any one of those areas, that was always an incredible legend for us to go back to it and get better with, right? 4 milestones in your business. If you're looking at, if this is your very first time or you've been here before, these are great conversations, great milestones to go after. And the idea is to get to each one of these as fast as possible, right? Obviously, getting started, becoming a field trainer. We treat that like a promotion in our office, right? We have people that say, man, I just got promoted to field trainer, which is pretty cool, right? Get to regional vice president, get to full ownership as soon as possible, okay? The number one job in Primerica, what's the number one job in Primerica? Do you guys know? What would you say the number one job in Primerica is? What's that? Freedom for families. What would you say number one job in Primerica is? Helping people get out of debt. Awesome, awesome. What would you say, Evan? Go get three. Awesome. What would you say, Judy? Ownership. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Let's see. Yeah, so look, those are all great answers. Yes, that's all true, okay? The number one job in Primerica is to grow the amount of licensed representatives you guys have, okay? Grow the amount of licensed representatives you have. If you grow licensed representatives, everything gets resolved. Everything gets resolved. And I can prove it to you. When we focused in on that, and we really put a plan of attack on that, this was our plan. This was Jason, Jackie, Eric, Bryn. This is how we went in 2019, or last year. In less than a year, we promoted 3 regional vice presidents, okay? In less than a year. This is what we focused in on. Personally, I focused in on recruiting 2 to 3 directs on a monthly basis, personally, okay? Personally recruiting 2 to 3 directs, because if you recruit 3, 1 is gonna go missing, 1 is gonna do nothing, and 1 you're gonna be able to work with, okay? So 2 to 3 directs, okay? Number 2 is be involved with double-digit recruiting with those 3 recruits. Now, not to have to mean you directly recruiting, but be involved with creating a double-digit leg with those 2 to 3. Does that make sense? Right? Hitting submit on the button, on the iPad. Number 3 is you're gonna field train and you're gonna do 5 to 10,000 of personal premium through field training those 3 to 10 people. And then finally is have a focus in on licensing 50% of your recruits. Now, we've always had a goal of focusing in on licensing 50% of our recruits. Our licensing ratio is closer to like 30, okay? But man, how amazing. I mean, that's an Art Williams principle. Art Williams would say 50%, license 50% of the people. And that's always been our focus. Look, this is gonna be something really crazy. Omar Oropesa taught this to me, and it blew me away when he taught this to me, okay? Your incomes are in direct correlation to the amount of licenses you have. Your income is a direct correlation to the licenses you guys have. I want you guys to write something down with me, right? If you have anywhere between 25 to 99 licenses, 25 to 99 licenses, your income will be in between 30,000 to 150,000. Anybody in here that has 25 to 99 licenses, income is probably in between 30,000 to 150,000, okay? If you have 100 to 300 licenses, your income is gonna be 150,000 to $500,000 a year. If you have 300 to 700 licenses, your income is 500,000 to 750,000. And if you have 700 or more, your income is 750,000 to $1 million and more. And it's so true, right? We look at our FL 414 code, right? The TOGA base shop code. We have 565 licensed agents, right? We have 565 licensed agents, so income's at 765,000. Okay? And if you tie in the licenses that we have on our code, the licenses that Eric and Bryn had on their code, it all correlates, right? Does the math check out? Have you guys asked yourself on that? Like, how many licenses you guys have, and then go into do the calculation on it. You'll see it's pretty similar. But look, guys, at the end of the day, when we're building, we got to have a belief that we can do something like this, right? David, we got to have a belief that we can do something like this. I was talking to Marcus earlier today, and I was telling him earlier, I was like, man, you got to have a one-on-one with yourself. You got to have a one-on-one with yourself and say, man, you could do something like this. You could believe it, put a plan of attack, and have a system of prospecting, improving skills, right, and enhancing everything. But along the way, and I'll close out with this, along the way, there's some things that you should avoid while you're building. There's some things that you should avoid while you're building. Go ahead and hit the next one. The first thing that you should avoid while you're building is, number one, caring what other people think. You got to stop caring what other people think, okay? Not caring what other people think is the best choice you're ever going to make. It will set you free. Number 2 is get out of your feelings. Get out of your feelings, right? You have to be in control of your feelings, or you're going to lose yourself. Your feelings have to be stronger. Your mind has to be stronger than your feelings, or you're going to lose yourself, right? So that's number 2. Number 3 is stop trading. This is a powerful one. Stop trading what you want most for what you want now. I wrote this down on the way here, and man, I thought it made so much sense. Don't make permanent decisions from temporary situations. Don't make permanent decisions from temporary situations. See, at the end of the day, we got 2 choices in life. Go ahead and hit the next one. You can go to school 20 years, work 45 years at a job, and enjoy 10 to 15 years at retirement. Or in Primerica, we could go 20 years, don't be a fool, stay in school, work 5 to 10 years building a business, and live the rest of your life in freedom. The reality of it is, you all, is we can work 5 to 10 years. Most of us here at jobs, we work super hard as it is, right? The reality of it is we can work 5 to 10 years here like a dog, okay? Like giving it everything we got, okay, and live the rest of our lives free versus working at a job 40 years being treated like a dog working for somebody else. And that's the reality of what's happening these days, y'all, okay? Go ahead, number 4, lacking clarity, okay? Lacking clarity. For a long time, I didn't know what was my schedule, okay? This was a very good schedule. At the time when we started implementing this, we were at about 100,000 of income. Eric was at about 150. We had a massive plan to get to 200,000, 250, and we have a massive plan to get, the main code to $1 million. So we looked at this system. We looked at a system where, first and foremost, what can we do to get to a 200, go ahead and hit the next one, 200,000 to $1 million game plan activity system. First and foremost, guys, where else are we gonna go where we can have a conversation where we can actually talk about earning 200, 250,000 in the next 12, 18 months, right? That's pretty remarkable, right? And so, man, don't ever take that for granted, first and foremost. But look, this was our plan, and it's always been very, very simple. By Sunday night, go ahead and hit the next one. By Sunday night, 8 p.m., I'm a very visual person, okay? By 8 p.m., worst case, having 6 in the right market kitchen table appointments set. Because 6 kitchen tables, if you got 4 weeks in a month, that's 24 kitchen tables for the month. If 24 for the month, if they got, what happens to half of those appointments? They cancel, they reschedule, right? 24 of them are going to cancel, reschedule. 12 of them are going to be actually completed. If you're doing 12 KTs, and if you have a 50% life insurance close rate and a 25% recruiting close rate, you're doing 3 recruits by 6,000, right? If you hit the next slide, if every policy is $1,000 a month, that's a $6,000 in personal premium. You'll fall on a couple of 401k rollovers, Roth IRAs, equals a $2,000 to $4,000 of personal income. Most importantly is you're an example, you're a leader, and you're an inspiration to your team and the entire company. If we hit the next slide, the $200,000 game plan was nothing more simple than, man, let's just get some other people to play with me. Right? Let's get in the game. It's you and 5 others getting in the game, having 6 kitchen tables by 8 p.m. Look at the math on what happens here. 6 people doing 6 KTs, that's 36, times 4 weeks, that's 144 set appointments. If half of those cancel, that's 72 appointments. And if 72 of those appointments, 50% of them close on life, 25% close on recruits, you're running a $36,000 base shop. And if you're doing $36,000 base shop and you're running on 72 appointments, right, you're gonna fall on some IRAs, 401ks, now with the mortgage, it's ridiculous. That equals about $200,000 income. What happens is, hey, look, if you're happy, your spouse is even happier, and if you don't got a spouse, you soon will. Okay? You soon will. All right? You soon will. You got me, Evan? Right? Right? So look, this is very simple. That was the 200,000. What does it take to get, look, if you guys are here at 200,000, looking to get to the next level, you're at 400,000, right? This is simple. 6 people playing is 200,000 a year. 12 is 400,000 a year. 18 is 600,000. 24 playing is 800,000. That's where we're at right now in the base shop, or in the hierarchy. We have about 24, 25, 26 people that are showing up consistently, full-time at the office, in person, and that's where our income is around that amount, right? We know that it's very simple. If we want to go to $1 million, we just need about 30 playing. But the key, guys, the key is consistency. Y'all say consistency. And following the system. Listen, what I found in all the years of Primerica, all the systems work. All systems in Primerica work. People just don't stay consistent with them, okay? Y'all's system is probably different than ours, but it works because y'all are consistent with it, okay? Man, and so again, I tell you guys to take this and enhance what you're currently doing, okay? Next slide. Number 5. Stop thinking the little things don't matter. Avoid thinking the little things don't matter, okay? Number 6, stop cutting corners. This guy right here, Randy Gage, says, success never goes on sale. Be willing to pay the market price. You got to stop negotiating with success, y'all. It never goes on sale. Look, the only shortcut in Primerica is to do it right the first time. Okay? There's only shortcut. Number 7, this is big. Letting losses go to your heart. Letting losses go to your heart, man. We see so much frustration. We see so much, discouragement. We see so much like, man, there are times in the business where it's like, man, everything's hitting against you. Everything's going against you, weighing against you. And I want to tell you guys something. Losers let losses define them. Losers let losses define them, but winners let losses refine them. Okay? Well-managed loss is one of the best and greatest example or causes of success in America today, right? So on the same token, don't let losses go to your heart, but at the same time, don't let wins go to your head. Don't let wins go to your head, man. Stay humble, stay working with it. At the end of the day, you could walk in our office on any given day, and you'll know without a shadow of a fact that Eric, Jason, Mom, Dad are the first ones in the office. We're the last ones to leave. We're the ones that are talking on the most appointments, because we feel like that's, to whom much is given, much is required, right? And so we take that and we don't stray away from it. Got a couple more slides here, and then I'm done. Number 8 is avoid being chokeable and not coachable, right? Listen, honor your leader with your lifestyle. This is how you tell if a teammate is not coachable, right? And if they're chokeable. First of all, they're not open to feedback. They're not open to feedback, okay? And then number two, you are more interested in their growth than they are, okay? Coaching is a partnership, right? Coaching is a partnership. People have to be willing to listen to your criticism and implement your strategies. Key word, being willing, right? Being willing. Number 9, self-doubt, right? Stop doubting yourself. Self-doubt is one of the major obstacles that live in the life the way you want to live on your own terms, okay? The only person you need to believe in is you. My brother wishes he could be here. He just had his second baby 2 days ago, all right? Ace Archer, which is really awesome. And, I have a 4-year-old and an 8-month-old. Quarantine got me, what can I say, right? And I have a 8-month-old. And, I look at my daughter and, infants are like incredible human beings. Okay? I look at my daughter, even with mask. I mean, think about that, right? With mask on nowadays, my daughter can, look at somebody's facial reactions just from their eyes and be able to know a certain situation, right? And so babies are like incredible human beings because they know, look, if I cry, my mom's gonna pick me up, right? They know if dad makes a funny face or if he tickles me, I'm gonna laugh. It's very interesting to me that all this time she's learning how to walk, and it doesn't matter how many times she falls down, 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, the thought of, man, I don't think I could do this ever enters her head, right? She doesn't have any self-doubt. As we get so influenced by all the world around us that we start believing that, right? So stop having self-doubt. And then the last thing here is stop being soft. Stop being soft. This is a locker room, right? Stop being soft. Avoid being soft. Listen, you're so young. Stop being so soft. And I want to close with this story. This story reminds me of, I play football in college, and I'm reminded of this one story of Henry Peterson. You guys know who Henry Peterson is? He was a third-string running back for the University of Alabama for Bear Bryant, okay? Henry Peterson, okay? And Henry Peterson was a third-string running back for Alabama, which means you never play if you're third string, okay? And he always was insisting on his coach, on Bear, hey, coach, play me. And Coach Bear was like, no, you're third string, no way, right? And one day before the Iron Bowl, which is the game between Alabama and Auburn, okay, Henry Peterson went up to Coach Bear Bryant and he said, Coach, my dad died, and I'm not going to be able to make it to the game. And that was earlier in the week. Coach Bear Bryant said, you know what, that's okay, son. It's important. You need to be with your family. Don't worry about it, okay? Well, the week went on. Friday, the day before the game, Henry Peterson shows up in the locker room and says, hey, coach, I thought about it. I want to support the team, but I want you to play me. I want you to start me. And he was persistent with Coach Peterson. I want you to start me. I want you to start me. And for some reason or another, probably Bear Brian Salemo was like, you know what, man, let's just put him in for a play or a series, and then we'll get him out. Well, they put him in, and in the first half, he had 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns, okay? In the locker room, Coach Bear Bryant goes up to Henry Peterson, and he says, son, I don't know whether to kiss you or to kill you. Why haven't you shown me that you can play like this all these years? And this is what Henry Peterson said. He said, Coach, my dad, the one that I told you passed away, right? He was blind, and this was the first day he got to see me play, right? So you got to have a reason, and you got to have a why. Stop being so soft. There's so many people counting on you guys to get after it, man. I'm so excited to spend some time with you guys this evening. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it.
Woo! Let's give him a hand. Unbelievable! Woo! Awesome, awesome, awesome. How about some of those nuggets up there, huh? Woo! You know, probably nothing a lot of us haven't seen. Some of us seen it for the first time, but it's always good to see those fundamentals over and over and over again, because a little bit described just a little bit different, all of a sudden it clicks, right? And so powerful for sure. So, woo! So man, I can't wait for tonight. He's getting into the football stuff tonight, right? Awesome. That is good. That is good. So, can you tell he's in the field? And that's where you want to learn from people, is people are out doing it, not had done it 100 years ago, all that stuff. It's like, man, he's flat out getting it done. And what is so darn exciting is just to have the Ortiz family here and the dynamics of what they're building as a family. Not is just the old stuff that Ed and Yvonne built, but now to see their sons come up and do it like that. I mean, is that just great or what, huh? Be able to see that, because most of us, you know, have children, and at some point you'd like to see them share something about what we're all about, right? And they don't always love Primerica and want to do that. They have other great things they're good at, but at the same time, it's really good that it's amazing to see this family work together. It's so good, so good. Okay, yeah, get that thing on there, would you, Ed? Okay. So Ed and Yvonne and us go back a ways. Think about this. Art Williams, Rusty Crossland, Ed Ortiz. How about that? Okay? And so Ed is so good that he recruited himself. So no kidding. He walked into a place and said, "Hey, recruit me," and not quite like that, but I'll let him put the things together. But because of the Crossland, being in the Rusty Crossland hierarchy, we've been able to travel together, haven't we, Ed? Okay, and you and I were just talking over lunch, and we were just saying, you know, it's like, geez, how many different places? You know, you can't even remember the places we've been, but some of the bigger highlights was Hawaii and France and Italy, right? And we did this bike trip through the Loire Valley of France, and so we had some great memories of being overserved by the French. Okay, and but anyway, great. Just being able to build those relationships in these early days, and we can't get away from that. I think that's so important. The relationships that we built with all the Crossland hierarchies. Like many of you guys have done in the Rudman hierarchy and in the Nye hierarchy, we've been able to do that, and that's so powerful. But hey, listen, Ed came from the military, and we want to thank him for his service, and so such a great part of that. And him and Yvonne both were, I don't know, never let the truth get in the way of a good story, but one of them was a helicopter pilot, and I think the other one jumped out of planes or something. I don't know. And but they were both in the military, and from the great country of province or whatever it is of Puerto Rico, and man, just a solid business person, a person of great integrity, a great leader, a giver, the guy that always wants to help somebody else. And because of that, he's surrounded himself with some great young new RVPs and an innovator in the sense that over the last year we were talking about, helping the company understand the way that a family is going to operate, okay, in going forward. We don't want 3 or 4 businesses, we want one business. And how that all come together is really been an innovator. And anybody ever heard of, we got any stoners in here? You got to be careful how I say that, okay? So what's that really mean is you like the Rolling Stones, okay? Anybody? Okay. In the 70s and 80s, we were called stoners, okay? Not quite like maybe that is today, but okay, so. And we had this darn fun deal, okay, that if somebody was ever in the sports or something, somebody got their cover story of their picture on something, right? And so we would always say, hey, you keep getting richer till you get your picture on the cover of the Rolling Stone, right? And so here you had the whole Ortiz family on the cover of Primerica's Freedom for Families, right? Huh? And so that's really great. And, you hear them talk about this thing called TOGA, okay? And what that stands for is, let's see if I can get it down right, the Ortiz Generations Alliance. Did I get it right? But that's their family business now. And you see that if you look at the Leaders Bulletin in Florida, right? That's really great. So, hey, you are in for a treat. Let's hear it from the great and the founder of TOGA, Ed Ortiz.
Let's try it.
How about now? Oh, there you go. All right. Come on, Jay, ¿qué pasa, man? You should have hooked me up, bro. All right, not a problem. But listen, what an honor to be here, honestly. Like I said, oh, by the way, let me tell you about Shane Rudman, man. You guys don't know about this stuff, but when I first came in this business, 30 years ago, Shane was already at 700, almost $1 million in income, And I remember meeting him the first time. And, today you got, who's your top guys, these young guys? I mean, he was one of these young up-and-comer, but who do we got now? Mario, Arizon, we got who else? Willie, and who else? Who else? And, no, I'm talking these young guys coming up now. Illich, all these guys. These guys all wrapped up in one did not reach Shane's ankles. That's how big this guy was. Powerful guy. When this guy spoke, I mean, everyone listened. The Smart. I remember when the Smart came out. You remember this? Everybody was doing Smart loans, and they were doing, $10,000. A big Smart loan was $15,000. All of a sudden, Shane grabbed a hold of this thing. I don't know how he did it, but he came back, and he was closing $100,000, $200,000. And we're like, what the heck is going on? This young guy down in Kansas, Shane Rudman, man. So he brought it in, man. And I'm telling you, it's so exciting to be here. But listen, tonight I'm going to be sharing a little bit about our story, but a little bit about myself. We've been in 30 years now, man. Time really flies. 30 years. I've only done 2 things in my life. 30 years in the military, prior to 30 years in Primerica. Prior to Primerica, I was 12 years in the military. Flew helicopters, had a good time, and I'll explain all that tonight, okay? But it's such an honor to be here. This is the first Fast Start School after everything is happening, and to be here with my son, what an honor, man. And he's going to bring it. This guy is, he just brings so much to the table, and we're so excited. Honestly, there's supposed to be 6 of us here today. All the wives and my other son and all that, but Got a little baby coming in. Can't wait to see him. But hey, next time, get ready for us. We're gonna bring it in. We're gonna bring it, and we're gonna have a good time. Okay? But I'm gonna share a little bit about what we're all about, leveling up. Okay? Now, what I'm gonna be sharing here, I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to tell you how this is done. I'm just showing you, hey, this is how we did it. This is what we've done. Okay? And if it's something that you can use, take it. Okay? If it's not, just leave it alone. All right? But use it. Whatever it takes that can grow your business, by all means, take advantage of it. All right? Fair enough? The first thing that I will tell you is how we started is you guys, you got to have a vision. You got to have a goal. You with me? When you come into this business, you got to have a vision. You got to have a goal. Let me. Seventh grade. When you're in seventh grade, how old are you? Anyone here seventh grade? Huh? How old are folks in the seventh grade? I just remember I was in seventh grade. Maybe 10, 12 years ago, right? I mean, you're 12 years old, right? I remember my dad was in the military. This was Fort Dix, New Jersey. We're walking towards the PX. PX is like the Walmart. Okay, walking towards the PX, and I remember my dad, as sharp as he could be, love him dearly, passed away, but love him dearly. This guy saluted, saluted this young guy and just basically, hey, good morning, sir. And I was walking right next to him, and I'm like, Dad, why did you salute this guy? He's younger than you. Why did you call him sir? And my dad explained to me, well, he's an officer. I'm a non-commissioned officer. He's a major. I'm a sergeant first class, and there's that respect that I got to provide. He shared all this whole thing with me. And I learned at that time, and right there and then, I still remember where we were at, the whole 9 yards, that I made a decision. I said, you know what? When I grow up, I want to be a major. I want to go in the Army, and I want to become a major. Because I want to have the respect of how my dad saluted this person. I want that type of respect. And all of a sudden, that just came in me. So my vision from that point on is I wanted to join the Army so I could become a major. You with me? And everything just started rolling from there. I mean, I went to high school, I went to college and all that. The purpose of going to college, I went to ROTC. The purpose of only going to ROTC was to get a commission and get into that, be a commissioned officer so that I can be, so I can get that respect. You with me? All right. Went into the military, got up to, became a lieutenant, second lieutenant, first lieutenant, captain, major. The minute I hit major, it was like, I don't want to be here no more. I'm done. Because you hit your goals. You hit that goal. Thank God my dad did not salute a general. Because otherwise I would still be in this, When I left the military, when we left the military, and I'll share that story tonight, that's pretty cool. But I left the military, all of a sudden, here I am looking for a job in Atlanta, and I see a Primerica office. And I remember a friend of mine who said, Ed, whenever you see a Primerica office, make sure you go in there and check them out. They got some great, great, great investments. Check them out. And I'm like, I ain't got time for that. I got to go find me a job. So here I am. And I see this Primerica office, and I say, I ain't got nothing else to do today. Let me walk in here. I walked in that office. The NSD of that office looked at me as I walked in and said, hey, are you here for an opportunity? You're interested in making money, being your own boss, having your own business, be financially set, being wealthy? And I'm like, whoa, what you got? What you got? And he sat me down and kind of shared everything with me. All right? And I looked at this, and I said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. What position is this guy? This is a national sales. That's what I want to be. I want to join. My vision now turned into, instead of being in the Army and becoming a major, I said, I want to go into Primerica and become a senior national sales director. Because that's the respect I got on this guy, and I know that I can. And, hey, we just came into the business, and we just worked it that way. Thank God the guy wasn't a rep, because otherwise I would be a rep right now, with me? So that's what I'm talking about. You got to have these, no matter where you're at, you got to know your why. Why are you doing this thing? Okay, and it's got to be a compelling why. It's got to be a why. why am I doing this? And it's got to be something that steers you up, okay? So once you got that vision, hey, go to work. The next thing you want to do is, hey, you want to have a plan. You want to have a plan and you want to work your plan. All right? And ever since in Primerica, everybody talks about the plan. What's the plan in Primerica? You guys heard it. 8, 5, 3, 1. You with me? And that was my plan. I thought that was so simple, such a simple plan. I said, man, all I got to do is have 8 appointments in a week, and I'm good. And that's all I did. I mean, I worked towards getting 8, 5, 3, 1. I knew that on Sunday night, by Sunday to me was like Monday for everyone. You know, a lot of folks just don't like Sundays. Don't like Mondays because you got to go to work and all that stuff. Sunday to me was that way as well. Sunday to me was like, man, if I don't have my 8 appointments by Monday morning, I got to go to work on Sunday just to make sure that I get those 8 appointments. You with me? I have to make sure that at least I could go minimum. I had to have 6 because I said by Monday I could get those other 2 appointments, but I cannot show up on Monday with less than 6 to 8 appointments. And all I did was work towards that. Man, because I knew that if I had that appointment, then I can basically lead the team and share, hey, what you got going on? Because I cannot go over there as an example and try to tell someone, how many appointments you got if I don't have it, if I'm not doing it. You with me? And that's what led to that. The next step is that once you have that, you got to duplicate yourself. All right? You got to duplicate. You can't do this by yourself, guys. There's absolutely no way. So the first person that I duplicated myself with was my wife. My wife came into this business, and I'll talk about her tonight, but she came into this, and she took this by storm. There's not a thing there's not a thing, she can do everything that I do plus more. I cannot do half of what she does. Because this lady is, what do we call her? The Oracle. The Oracle. Any questions you got? Hey, listen, if you call me up at any time and say, hey, Ed, what about this? What about that? Oh, man, wait, hold tight. Let me check with the Oracle. Because she is the one who runs this thing. She keeps us all on track as far as how to do this business. And you'll get to know her because she is just absolutely phenomenal. But you got to duplicate yourself. Once you got that, you got to duplicate yourself in other people. You got to go out there and show other folks, hey, listen, because you need some help. You with me? You need some help. And that's the purpose of this business, is to start generating that help, okay? Now, and the next step is, once you got all this thing going, your plan of attack, you got a double-digit recruit. You got a double-digit recruit, DDR, all right? Double-digit recruits. And double-digit recruits is nothing more. Most leaders, all the great leaders in our company right now will tell you this. They will tell you that you go ahead and put that next one. All right? Many leaders in our company will tell you that in order to succeed in this business, you need to double-digit recruit. At least you need to have built, 10 and double-digit is nothing more than having 10 folks or more. You need to do this for 12 consecutive months. Right? In other words, you need to have 100. The key of this game is 120 recruits. 120 recruits. If you just do 10 recruits every month, minimum 10 every month, on a yearly basis, you'll have 20. You'll have 120. 120 is takeoff speed. All right? What I mean by that, all right? I used to fly helicopters. Part of flying helicopters, I also flew aircraft. I also flew Piper Archers and all these little fixed-wings aircraft, okay? This is what I'll tell you about an aircraft. For those, any pilots in here? All right, good. So you guys can verify this with me, okay? Like, for example, little Piper Archer, you get in there. If you're going to take off, you can take that bad boy to the end of the runway, and takeoff speed is 120 knots or 120 miles. Let's put 120 miles an hour. All right? You can take that aircraft and go ahead and punch it in. And if you run from the end of the run and you take it all the way to 115 knots, you're still on the runway. If you turn it around and you crank it back up and you take it to 119 knots, you're still on the runway. All right? If you take it and you punch it and it gets up to 120, it creates aerodynamic lift, and all of a sudden your airplane just floats off the ground. You with me? 120 is takeoff speed. All right? And once you take off, it takes less power to maintain it in flight than it does to take off. Does that make sense? All right? So you got to do that. You got to make sure that you have, and once you have 120, man, you got your business going. All right? Now, let's go with 120. Now, once you got 120 recruits on your team, doesn't mean this is what's going to happen. 120 recruits is takeoff. But we all need to know how this business works. You already know that out of 120 recruits, 100 of them, 100 of those 120 recruits are not going to do anything. You with me? They're going to quit before, you've heard this one before, right? They're going to quit before the what? The ink dries out. All right? They're gone. Some of them will come in, hopefully before they leave, they've taken care of their personal plan. They'll probably refer you to another person or something like that, but they're gone. All right? Out of that 17 out of 120, hey, they're going to get licensed. Those are your licensed people. Those are the ones that are going to do this on a part-time basis. They're going to show up every month. They either turn in a little piece of business. They either turn in a recruit. They do something. All right? They're doing something. All right? 17 of them. All right? And 3 of them are going to be your go-getters. Those are your RVPs, your future RVPs. Those are the folks that are right in here right now. Because I guarantee you, between you and the guy right next to you, there's probably about 100 people that were in this business that are no longer here. You with me? You are the go-getters, okay? These are these folks, and those go-getters will generate you on average between about 40,000 to 50,000, 25 to 40 to 50,000 a year in overrides. So the question is, do you care if you got 3 people and generates you 50,000 each, 150,000 a year consistently every year, year in, year out? Do you care that 100 of them quit? No, you with me? So your job is, man, I'm just looking for these guys over here. But I need to get all these guys to get these guys in. You follow? And that's the mindset. That's the mindset, okay? Now, and I put a little game together here. I just basically said, now watch this. What if you were to take 120 marbles? 120 marbles. Out of those 120 marbles, there's going to be 100 blue ones. There's going to be 17 orange ones. And there's going to be 3 green ones. And you put them in a big old jar, and you mix the jar up. And every month, you pull out 10 marbles. 10 marbles. This is how it's going to look. The first month, you pull out, boom, it'll probably look like that. The second month, it'll probably look like this. The third month, it'll probably look like, take it all the way down to 12 months. Every month, you're pulling out 10 marbles. Boom. And this is your 120 marbles that you have pulled out. All right? Now, here's a question. What if these were your first 15? Go ahead. A lot of folks will quit. That's when a lot of folks will quit. Oh, man, esto no trabaja. No, this ain't no good. No, I'm going home. No, these don't work. You with me? That's going to happen. What if these were your first 15? Yeah, Jimmy Meyer, good point. That's where you find those Shanes. That's when you find the Jims. That's when you find the Toms. That's when, You with me on this? One thing we know for sure, you got to stay the course. You got to stay the course. You got to stay the course because you don't know where it's going to happen. It could happen at the end. It could happen at the beginning. It could happen, but it's going to happen. The only way it will not happen is if you quit. And a lot of folks quit way too soon. A lot of folks quit right around success is right around the corner, and they just quit. One thing we know, and you've heard this before, the numbers will never beat you. Or you cannot beat the numbers, but the numbers will not beat you. You with me? As long as you stay the course. You got to stay the course. You got to run this whole thing all the way out, okay? Now, one thing to improve the numbers. In order to improve the numbers, here's a couple of points. If you want the numbers working for you, number one is that, hey, you got to recruit in the right market. All right? What is the right market? They call it the macho market. Married, age, children. And I usually say the right market to me is someone who's married with kids. That's it. If I find someone, hey, listen, and the way I usually ask is, hey, you got any kids? Yeah. I'm already assuming that, hey, they're married. All right? And I'm assuming that, hey, look, if they have kids, chances are they got a job. By looking at them, you could tell they're over 25. All right? I could care less if they own a house or not. You with me on that? That was back in the days when we had the smart and we used to use all that good stuff and all that. But right now, hey, married with kids. You married with kids? Yeah. The minute I find that out, hey, you open for opportunities? You're interested in doing something different, man? Are you keep your options open? Yeah. And usually what do they usually say? Yeah. My next step is from there, how can I get a hold of you? How can we get together? Let me share an opportunity with you. See if it's for you. If it is for you, great. If it's not for you, that's good too. At least you know what I'm doing. And at least if you know down the future, if you know someone who might be interested, hey, refer them this way. Fair enough? And I set an appointment. That's it. I'm looking for someone who's married. If someone who's single, we got any single folks in here? And we got a ton of single folks in our office. Trust me, we love them dearly. But we let them know that, hey, listen, just because you're single, don't stay in the single market. Your market is married with kids. You with me? And you want to be successful. Look, I have no hair. You with me? If I were a barber and I'm looking for folks like me, I'll go out of business. All right? So it doesn't mean that I got to be single and look for single people. If I am single, I'm looking for someone who's married. If I have no hair and I'm a barber, I'm looking for folks that have hair. And that's how simple I looked at it. I said, I'm just looking for folks that this is their market. Who are the people that are married with kids? Okay? And and the minute you do that, trust me, you'll work a little and you'll make a ton of money. If you work with folks, if you strictly say, man, I'm single and I'm going to keep it with single, you're going to work a lot and you're going to make a little money. You with me? So if you want to work less and want to make more, stay in the market. Stay in the market. Make sense on that? All right. Step number 2, hey, recruit the spouse. Recruit the spouse. All right? Recruit them both. If you're going to sit down with them, that's why I'm married with kids. I want to sit down with both of them. I want to share both of you. Hey, listen, this is what we do. Let me show you because, and I'll share this tonight. When I saw this thing, when they showed me what the company was all about, man, I was so jacked up. I remember telling the guy, listen, I'm highly interested, but I got to talk to my boss. All right? And I went home and I was so excited. I said, babe, I don't know what this is all about, but you got to come take a look at this thing. This might be something for us. Huh? But, hey, I need for you to take a look at it. I brought her over the next day and I said, hey, Ward, show Yvonne what you showed me. And he did. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is how we do it. And my wife looked at him, looked at me and said, Ed, let's both do this. Let's both do this. We got nothing to lose. What if it works? If it doesn't work, we'll go find another job. But what if this thing works out? If we don't give it a shot, we'll probably go through life asking, man, what if that thing would have worked out? You with me? And the minute she came on board, our business, that's when we took off. That's when I said, because I wasn't going to do it, without her. You with me? And so from that point on, I said, you got to recruit the spouse. You got to recruit the spouse. And that's what it's all about. The next one, all right, plug them into the system. What do I mean by that? Get them in school. Hey, they got to become clients. If they're married with kids, are our products meant for them? Yes. Yeah. That's what's our product? Hey, just nothing more than to show them how to protect their income, how to properly save for the future, how to get out of debt. You all know the story, okay? But plug them into the system. Get them into the crusade. Hit number 4 there. All right? Help them internalize the crusade, what we're all about, okay? What this industry has done for us. And I'll share that tonight as well, what they did to me, why I am so, highly convinced as far as what we do is the right thing, okay? All right? So they need to understand that. Number 6 is what? Get them in the field quick, guys. You got to get them in the field quick. Within 72 hours, you got to get out, you got to get them in the field. Okay, they got to need to see the next step. What's the next step? How do we get this thing going? And a lot of you probably know all this stuff here. I'm just, this is all we did. And we still do this stuff. We still keep this thing so simple. We still, keep it like that. And every time in our orientation, this is what it's all about. Number 6. Okay, lock them in with the recruit. If you don't want your team, put a recruit underneath. Put 2 of them. Put 3 of them. If you put 3 recruits on their team, trust me, these guys aren't going anywhere. All right? They're going to stick around. They're going to do whatever it takes. They're going to do whatever it takes to make money and build this business. All right? So lock them in with 3 recruits on that side. And the last one on this one is nothing more. Here's the kicker. Folks, you need to identify you want to work with the ones that want to work, not with the ones that need to work. All right? Work with the wanters, all right, not the needers. You follow what I'm saying on that one? And we're all guilty on that one. We look at this thing and say, man, this person be awesome in this business. This person over here, they need this business. This person is over here. They're so far. They could use this money. They can use this freedom. They could use this, That's what they need. But it's got to come from them. It's got to come from them where they want it. I mean, when I first came into this business, trust me, I wanted to do this. I didn't need to do this. I mean, I was looking for a helicopter job. I was looking for, man, I'm going to go fly for the police department, for the ambulance, for the news, TV station. Hey, that's what but when I saw this opportunity, I said, now, wait a second. I got a chance here where I could be stone wealthy. I could buy a helicopter if I wanted to down the road, I want to do this thing. I don't need to do this thing. I want to do this thing. I want the freedom that this thing brings. I want it all. I want it all, and I want to have a business that I could pass down. Once I started getting into it, we could have a family business. We can have a family business here. And one of the folks that really inspired us to do that, believe it or not, was Tom and his family. Tom and his family over here, years ago, they had a picture over there where they had all of them, hands together, rings and all that. And I said, that's what I want. I want to have a family where we're all in the business together, where we could, take care of each other and just build a business. And that was a goal. And we just kept moving towards that. And we're not there yet, but I'm telling you what, man, it is so much fun. It is so much fun, but what we're building on that thing, okay? So make sure that you guys do that, all right? Next one over here, total financial independence, guys. You've heard this one before, R. Williams. What did he say? In order to become totally financially independent, all you need to do is develop what? 7 to 10 key leaders, okay? key leaders, okay? And key leaders are people that want it just as much as you do. Okay, these are your key leaders. These are folks that they're wanters. You know, these are your Jims, your Tom, your Shanes. You know, these folks out here, Martha. You know, these folks over here that are just, you know, they want to do this. You call a play, and they're always going to be here. Okay, so that's what we're looking at doing something like that. Okay, and I'll close it down with this one right here, basically saying this. Listen, whatever you do, no matter what, guys, never, ever, 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 ever give up. You got to stick to it. Stick to it. Continue moving forward. Continue moving forward. It's got to happen. It's got to happen. By default, it's got to happen. The only way that it won't happen is if you quit. You with me? If you quit. So, hey, God bless you all. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be great tonight. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. We definitely look forward to having you guys here. Okay? You're the man.
Give him a hand. Fantastic. Woo! Amazing, amazing. Wow. Talk about a pack full of fundamentals, huh? We needed that. We needed that. So, hey, listen, we've got an amazing night planned for you tonight. We're going to have some recognition, some promotions, some milestone recognition, all kind of fun stuff. We've got a bunch of plaques up here. Woo! I mean, they're not really plaques, but cool stuff, okay? And so it's going to be awesome, awesome. So we're going to ask you to leave this area, okay, and get out, okay, and then the doors will reopen at 6:30. Everybody good with that? If you can't see a restaurant between here and the hotel, you're blind, okay? Because there's about 400 of them, okay? So you can figure that out real quick, be back, and we will see. One more, go for it.
Just real quick. Hey, look. Those of you who've been around for a while, you've got people that are in your business that are not plugged in right now, okay? One of the greatest things that our founder, Art Williams, did for me, and then a guy named Pete Dawkins, then a guy named Joe Blumeri, they asked me to help them. I'll talk a little bit tonight in the morning about our number one problem is we don't have belief in ourselves. I'll let myself down all day long. I hate letting other people down. I played the sports I did because I wanted the team to win, right? So I encourage you to identify at least one person that's in your business now. You can obviously invite a bunch of brand new people, but ask them if they're somewhere else in the world to watch the live stream so that they can give you feedback on how the satellite location is working, how they could see it working. Not for them, but for you. If you would have called me, I probably wouldn't have gone on there for myself, but at a point in my career or before my career, if you would have called me and asked me to tune in my underwear tonight from home, I'd have done it. And I'd have given you feedback. And I'd have been in. And then I wouldn't have cared if you were doing it or not. I was doing it, right? Now, you ought to do it for genuine feedback. Tonight, invite people back, get people on this hybrid event. Jim and Mary, all the people that are helping. Eugene probably wants to put a bullet in his own head, probably, because Eugene's helping all the technology. Will you please tell everyone to be nice and kind and all that? This is the first time we're doing the electronic ticket over satellite locations, all that stuff, all right? Everybody, make sure everybody's happy and positive.
And they should know that if you go to Midwest Big Events Telegram chat, the link is on there. So if you need to flip it to somebody, it's right there right now, ready to go. Okay? Here we go. See you in a few minutes.